Well, for today, I have a topic that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in, whether they're on the one side or the other. And this is sex outside of marriage. And I got into a big debate last night and a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that propped up was the subject of sex outside of marriage and why is it wrong. And the explanation they sort of gave that I don't understand. Maybe somebody can explain it better, or maybe maybe someone else can facepalm about this. The argument seemed to be that they were saying that sex, if you go to a bar and have sex with someone, you're selfishly you're using them. You're using them for selfish reasons. You're using them just for the pleasure of sex, and that this is inherently wrong. And I question the idea that you're using someone, but I'm not even quite sure, if that was the case, how a mutually agreed upon act, something like that, where you're both getting something, is somehow wrong. And you can make this argument from a lot of things, if I buy something from a store, I'm just using the store for my own selfish means. The store is using me for their selfish needs, for money and whatnot. I guess it really depends on just how extreme you're going to take this analogy, because I don't quite get it. The whole subject came up over, morality and ethics, and if there is some sort of ultimate thing that is beyond ourselves. And, the whole part sort of devolved into the idea of sex and whatnot. And to me, I don't see this as being anything more than a personal opinion of some people that sex is wrong for these reasons, or whatever reason it's sex outside of marriage. There is no objective reason that I can think of that this is inherently wrong. It's a value judgment. Certain people have higher value on sex being important for certain things and certain things only. Some Christians go to the far extreme that it's only for the purposes of procreation. Which is women won't allow condoms or other contraceptives, because there still has to be that accepted chance that you could get pregnant. They didn't agree with this. They were saying it was more the harm to do with the body and whatnot, but there are Christians that do this. And I also think maybe this might be more a form of trying to think of an explanation that I might accept rather than what they actually accept. And I just don't get this. It seems to be sort of this cultural thing with America, and I guess sort of countries that have been influenced by Islam and Christianity, that sex is dirty outside of anything but procreation to some extreme, or even just marriage, because it's only supposed to be for the purposes of having kids. And if you're having sex outside of marriage, you're generally not aiming for that. And one thing that did get brought up briefly was that, contraceptives aren't 100%, and a person can still get pregnant, and you're selfishly, what do you do with the child? Well, these chances with modern technology and whatnot are far, far less. Especially if you're using proper contraceptives and whatnot. Yes, they're not perfect, but that's why you use multiple layers. You're not just wearing a condom or the birth control. There are ways to protect yourself more than just one device. These limit any of the problems that come with these. So maybe somebody can explain this a little bit better. Or if you were in a discussion and you happen to see this, maybe you can explain it better, because I still don't quite get it. I still think this is just a personal judgment call, and it has nothing to do with anything objective outside of ourselves. Because I don't see these things as objectively wrong. and many others don't. Many cultures throughout history have not seen these things objectively wrong. Also, a question that did come up that I'm curious for those who are against, homosexuals in general because of adultery or whatever. Would it bother you less is if they either were married or something equivalent or as close to it as possible without being it? Would you consider that fine as long as you're in a committed relationship? This is sort of a dovetail question I'm curious to hear your thoughts on. That came up, and some agreed, some disagreed, but I'm curious about that. Let me know your thoughts.